Let's go fishing.
Let's go fishing.
I'm on a mission.
I'm on a mission.
It's so pretty, I'd sure hate to waste this chance. We'll find us a shady little spot, not too cool, not too high.
Guys, I don't know what's going on, but the fishing on Lake Okeechobee for the past week has just been outstanding. I mean, they're catching crappie now, and everywhere you go, you're catching largemouth. I think this is going to be a great year on Lake Okeechobee because I sat there on a 5-gallon bucket and caught fish all morning right in the canal there. I just caught it on artificial. You'll watch it, caught it on artificial, and also caught them on shiners. But yeah, it's about an hour long, this one, but it's just all catching. I just caught one right after another, and when I wasn't catching them on shiners, I was catching them on trick worm. I broke off on 2 5+, maybe 6, because I'm only using Power Pro 10-pound test, and my leader's 6-pound test, and I'm using a 16th ounce jig head, and using that trick worm, and so you're going to lose some. But I'll tell you, when you use that lighter tackle, and I'm using an ultralight, you use that lighter tackle like that, you're going to get a lot more bites, but you're going to lose some big ones like that. I had my drag set, but one got down in the rocks there, right there at my feet. It was a dandy, but I just couldn't get to it. But it was just nonstop. I mean, if it's and there was boats going by and stirring the water up. It didn't matter. That just seems like that made them bite a little bit better right there in that canal. Yeah, I just stopped in there this morning and picked me up a dozen shiners, and thought, well, man, I'll just go up there. I wasn't going to take the boat out this morning because it's just I've been in the boat about every day, and I had a little bit of neck and back issues. So I thought, well, I'll just stay out and I'll just go and sit on the old 5-gallon bucket and see if I can catch some. And it worked out pretty good, though. It really worked out pretty good. Yep. And the bait again, when you get it at Garrett's Tackle Shop, your bait's always good, whether it's, shiners or night crawlers or whatever it is, it's always good. So, yep. Some of them fish I caught today were females. I mean, they were pretty big. They're getting ready to do their thing. That they do it all winter. They they say they do it all year long, but I think they really start November really good. November, December, January, and February. But yeah, they were pretty good size. They was getting ready to do their thing. And I caught a lot of buck bass too, small bass. But yeah, I don't care. Just as long as I'm catching fish, I'm tickled to death.
He swallowed it. Oh my. He's on.
You had to slow drag it though. I mean, it wasn't a fast bite today. I just slow dragged it on the bottom and just kind of bouncing that that trick worm on bottom. And it seemed like when it hit a rock or it bounced off one of them rocks, that's when it was like a reaction. They'd come up there and grab it. I caught a couple of them just dragging the worm in. They just come up and grabbed it as I was pulling it up out of the water. So that's how good they was hitting this morning.
Got more fish on a worm than I am live bait. That's how good. guys. Look how black it is. The old trick worm, DOA worm. Larry Wright special right there, guys. Larry Wright special, guys.
You know you have the right bite when they're right bait there when they're swallowing it down like that blue worm. I mean they were eating that thing now. They wasn't grabbing it by the tail. They were it's, like I said, it's 8 inches long, that DOA worm, and they were eating it. Even the smaller fish were chowing it down, you know, so. Trick two was trying to keep that, you know, worm as straight as you could on that small hook. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want it curled up there on the end so you could get all the action out of it you could. And that worm's got a flat bottom on it. So when you kind of bounce it up there, it kind of glides, you know, between hitting the rock and stuff, it glides one way or the other. So sometimes it's a reaction bite, I think. But yeah, the way that design of that worm is, it'll move around down there. And it also floats, which that helps a lot tremendously too. And I soak in worms and shrimp juice, and that kind of helps too. Watch the tip of that rod. I'm just barely moving that thing through the water. Just barely rolling that thing over the rocks. Which you could do that if the wind ain't blowing 100 miles an hour and real light with them 16th ounce heads. But now if the wind's blowing, you can't do it. But you know, you gotta go to a little heavier head. But you're gonna get tangled up more. But yeah, the trick is just throw that thing out there and don't get in a big hurry.
It's at the DOA worm. And I think it's an 8-inch. We use a 6-pound test trilene on 10-pound test Power Pro yellow, so I can see the line. And they're wanting something really finessey this morning. They don't want no weight to it, so they're not even taking the shiners, but they're taking this right here, right there, guys. The biggest thing about catching fish with this shaky hit or a drop shot is staying in contact with the bottom, guys. You can feel that bottom. It's hard to do with a 16th ounce jig, but you know, you got to. You just got to take your time. If it's really windy, it's hard to do, but there's no wind at all this morning, so I can stay in contact. So. No giant, but it's a fish. You know me. I'm always like, as long as I'm catching fish, I'm happy, guys. All right, let's see if we can get another one. That's not good. Must have been wet, so my butt's wet. All right, let's see if we can get it back there.
For 4 hours I sat there and caught bass this morning off that 5-gallon bucket there sitting along the canal, and it just, yeah, it kind of took me back when I was a kid, when I used to go down along the creek bank and sit on a bucket with a spinning rod and catch smallmouth. But yeah, they just yeah, you didn't have to have a boat this morning. You could fish right off the bank and catch them, and that's good. I'm glad to see that. I threw that shiner out over by that rock point over there where I've been catching them, and Herring, he was kind of eyeballing me all morning here, and he was thinking about it. Well, it just got too much for him, so he had to come down and get a hold of that shiner. And before I could get it away from him, he grabbed it. And I know those shiners or them herrings, that bill, they can drive that through a fish's side and stuff, so you don't want to get stuck with one of them things. I'm telling you right now, them blue herrings, they'll run that bill right through you. So I got Mr. Herman there was standing beside me, so he got a blanket out of my back seat and threw over its head so it wouldn't spook it too bad. And we went down and grabbed it, and I got the hook out of it. But I wasn't, I thought about cutting the hook off, and I thought, nah, I don't want that thing, flying around with that hook sticking. I wasn't sure if it was in its wing or in its bill, but it turns out it was in its wing, and I was able to get it out. But I'm telling you one thing, when I grabbed a hold of him, he had the old big eye on me now. He didn't like that at all. I turned him loose, and up through the canal he went, just to getting her. But yeah, I got Herman there. You'll watch him here. He'll throw that blanket down over top of his head so he can't see what's going on. And but he tried to fly a few times. But they're pretty agile bird. I mean, he got him up there and was on them rocks and was sitting there and kind of saying, "Hey man, come on down here. I'll run this bill right through you." But anyhow, we got him unhooked and turned him loose, and nobody was hurt in this scene. But it's kind of an interesting morning. I just kind of braked up a ho hum from catching bass, started catching blue cranes. So.
Just be cool. I'm gonna let you go.
Luckily, it wasn't hooked in the mouth. He hadn't swallowed the shiner, which is a good thing. It was hooked in his. He had hooked it in his wing, and which was nothing was hurt. Nothing hurt on him. But yeah, if he'd have swallowed that thing, oh gosh, I just had to cut the line. He'd probably been in trouble, but it didn't.
Keep his head up. You can't imagine what I went through this morning.
You leave the tag ends on there? Oh, that was
This pole had a big shiner on it, and I turned my head, and it had been out there a good while and hadn't had a bite, and all of a sudden that thing grabbed it and swallowed it, and out through there it went. Luckily, I grabbed the rod before it jerked it into the water. I mean, it kind of caught me off guard, so, but yeah, I mean, it had been out there like for 15, 20 minutes, hadn't had a bite. I thought the shiner was dead. Guys, I just like catching them on shiners as I will do on artificial. Same way with crappie. I don't mind taking minis and put them out there and catching them on minis. They're trolling for them, but yeah, I like live bait. I like catching fish on live bait just as well as I do artificial. Just whatever they'll hit. I'll put it out there. This was a good one. All the fish though were healthy. I mean, nice solid fish. Even the smaller ones, they were healthy. But this was a pretty good one. Fought good. It was just a nice fish.
A little dirty, but I got him. He swallowed the hook. I'm going to have to cut the hook on that one, guys. He swallowed it. Caught me off guard. Caught me off guard, man. Hey. Canal fish, guys. This goes to show you can catch good fish here in the canal. All you gotta do is get you some shiners. Get dirt on him, wash that off. He'll be tailed just be as good as new. I lost my fishing pole on that one. Some of this stuff out of the way. Fishing from the bank, guys. I'm using a 2-aught hook right there. Kale hook. We call them shiner hooks. And I'm using 30-pound test Power Pro, the slick. I like using the slick for shiner fishing. Cast it farther and it just seems like it just comes off the reel a lot easier, and it's just real sensitive. Of course, it wouldn't have made no difference in that one. It about took my pole and everything in the water. That's all right. I have a fish story. I got it on film so everybody will believe it. I had this 20-pounder on. He about pulled my, I just put it Palomar or trilene knot on there and on that and put a shiner up here.
Mr. Herman hooked one and it come down the canal, and I went down and netted it for him. It was a nice fish, probably a 2-pounder. But yeah, I think he was using a Zoom swim bait, and he was catching his on a Zoom swim bait. So, but yeah, they just hit and put about anything now.
What's that called?
Hover rig, Gamma hover rig.
Yeah. I got more hit the water, buddy. Yeah. Who make it?
They make one of them that's a shiner glide or something. I don't know what it's called.
catfishermen coming in. There was 2 boats of them. They looked like they had a pretty good load of catfish. I mean, the boats were really, running pretty low in the water. So that's a sign that that they had a pretty good night of catfishing. I think catfishing's down here. Commercially they get 45 cents a pound, and they'll get some 600 to 1,200 pounds a night. But like I said, though, when a boat went by, it seemed like the fish would bait a lot better. Kind of made a little bit of movement in the water, and it kind of wake the fish up, and right after they go by, you catch fish. Watch right after this boat goes by, I hook one. I mean, that boat traffic does not bother these fish in the canal. It seems like it makes them hit. I mean, just like I said, it just maybe spooks the bait up and they start, but the noise from the boats doesn't hurt these fish at all. I mean, they just seems like it turns them on all of a sudden, which is a good thing. I mean, because there's a lot of boat traffic at times on this canal.
I like that song.
Fish on, guys, fish on. That light line, 10-pound test and 6-pound test, they wanted that. They wanted that soft presentation out there in that canal this morning.
Every morning you catch them in the spec rod, don't you? It's more fun though, isn't it? That's 2 pounds away from being a water heifer. Fish on. There he is, guys. There he is, guys. Fish on, fish on. You're a little dirty, but they'll come off. Caught that on the old 16th ounce jig, guys, on the crappie jig. On the gas, on the gas. There's the gas.
I had Mr. Herman there, he was cheering me on when I was catching my fish, you know. But yeah, they just seemed like they wanted that real light line. But you always got to have a little moral support, you understand what I'm saying, when you're catching fish.
Is that right? Any big ones?
A couple 3-pounders.
Really?
Look at the cloud cover, that helped contribute to a lot of it. I mean, he kind of kept the sun in this morning too. It wasn't a bluebird sky. That cloud cover helped the bite too. I mean, you know, but yeah, I mean, a little bit of everything, but the fish were definitely hitting.
Fish on, guys, fish on. Fish on, guys, fish on. Fish on, my belly. That belly on her. She got a belly on her, guys. She got a belly on her. We're back in the ring. We're back in the ring.
This machine creeps on fire, ain't it?
Yeah, I was using an ultralight rig to catch these fish with, and like I said, I lost some, but you know, it's just fun catching them on the ultralights, like I used to fly fish for trout. You know, look at that pole bend there. You know, it's just, you know, if you lose them, you lose them. But you know, but like I only lost 3 or 4 of them. They were pretty good size ones I lost, but most of them I got into the bank. The only thing when you're fishing down along these rocks and stuff here in South Florida, you got to keep your eyes out for snakes, cottonmouths, because it's not so bad when it's cool, but when it's a little bit warm, them rascals will crawl up in them rocks right there and just kind of eyeball you. But yeah, you just kind of watch that down here along the canal, because there's plenty of snakes down here.
Yeah, yeah. Nah.
Thank goodness for that long arm dip net where I didn't have to crawl down over them rocks to get them fish. I mean, that's a crappie dip net, but shoot, you can put bass in it too. It don't matter. You could put a 10-pound bass in that thing, and you don't have to bend down over it. And just kind of reach out there and get a hold of them. It saves crawling over them rocks. You can do this anywhere in the canals up and down through here. I mean, there's all kind of places where you can pull in and walk down on the bank and catch fish, whether it be bluegill, like I said, bluegill, crappie, or bass. You can just kind of get you some bait and get down there and sit down and catch fish. They were eating that old trickworm, guys. That old purple trickworm, baby. They were gobbling her down.
Right there. That's a trick today. Well, they are black, ain't they? He'd like to have this with him. That's just the right size for him, too. Well, I think
There was an osprey there. He was eyeballing me too, like a blue herring. He was one of them bass. He was circling around and thinks, boy, that's an easy meal if he'd give that to me. But yeah, he wasn't as brave as the herring. He didn't swoop down there and jerk one out of the water.
yeah, big females. Guys, I'm using a 16th ounce shaky head with a 8-inch purple trickworm, guys, and just really catching them. I mean, they're really catching them.
There's something about the conditions, the weather, the length of day, temperature, all that, which I don't understand it. But whatever it is, it's triggered a fish all over the lake here and the canal they're feeding. They're really putting on the old feed sack. It probably has a little bit to do with the cold weather coming, our way here. Excuse me, next month. I know up north they'll put the feed sack on where it gets really cold, and in the month of October is always a good month up north because they know the cold weather's coming, and you can go out and have a good day, whether it's crappie or bass or muskie or whatever in the fall of the year. And I think it's the same way here. I think they're just getting ready for the cold weather that's coming here in about another 3 weeks. You can stop in at Garrett's Tackle down here in Okeechobee and get all this stuff, all these baits, and you can get your shiners, you can get your worms, the light line, and but they'll fix you up, so you can do this along the bank in the canal. You can do this anywhere, and even in the Okeechobee River on the bank, you can catch them like this. You get you some shiners or get you some minis and for crappie. The fish, you can fish off the bank. I mean, get you a 5-gallon bucket, sit down, and just relax. Just for a morning of fishing like this, it's just very relaxing. And you can see you don't need a boat. You don't always need a boat. You can catch them right from the bank.
I don't know what it is, but things are changing.
Yeah, guys, it was just an enjoyable day today. Sitting on that 5-gallon bucket, dragging them bass in.
Guys, here's the trick this morning. We had some shiners and I had some DOA trick worms. That was the trick this morning, guys.